You are listening to Ice Cream for Breakfast with your hosts, Tara Chase and Kevin Hansen. Do you know what that means? Well, there's a great guest lined up. So sit back and enjoy some ice cream.
Okay, special for us today. Are you filming them as well?
I am.
Okay, cool. You guys are on camera.
Right.
Just so you know.
You don't have to watch it. I don't want to be on the camera.
Kevin, it's okay.
Anyway.
Our guests want to see you. I should say that.
So we're here with Blake and Cyndi. Thank you for having us into Lovejoy's. Is it ice cream, or is there homemade ice cream or handmade ice cream, or what's the official name?
Lovejoy's Real Ice Cream.
Real ice cream.
Yes.
It's real.
So tell me, I'm going to bump some mics up just a little bit. So tell us your story. I know you guys, your first date was at an ice cream place, and kind of tell us kind of how you guys met and kind of the process there.
All right. We met in college, and like you said, our first date was ice cream. We fell in love. He was the only other person I knew who ate ice cream every single day, so it was meant to be. And we took one class together in college. It was our senior English class. In it, we were asked to write a paper on what we were passionate about, and I wrote that someday I wanted to open an ice cream shop. And so this is kind of a dream over 20 years in the making. It only happened because we made a good team and we're able to do it together. He's the numbers behind it all. I'm the what color sprinkles do we want to have behind it all. And it works really well for us. So
yeah. And
first of all, oh my gosh, that is the cutest story I've ever heard. So what college did you guys meet at?
we went to BYU.
You went to BYU
Yes.
in Provo?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, and so we opened this location about 4 years ago, and I worked for Micron for 15 years. So at the time, I'd worked for Micron for maybe 11 or 12 years. And we kind of started thinking about opening a business. But I would commute right by this location, and this strip mall was full. But I just told myself for like a year or two, like, if one of those places ever opens, we're going to do it. And so when we finally saw one open, like a place came vacant, I saw the sign up. I called the realtor that day, and so that's how we got going. But you know, there was a 15-ish year break between when she wrote her paper and when we actually made it happen.
That is a cool story. I'm going to drive by so just so you know, we're at a location on Overland and Meridian Road, and there is the Curb Bar and Grill next door. In the plaza, there's a lot of different options, but now you have the best option to come try Lovejoy Real Ice Cream.
So where is the love for ice cream? Like, if you ate it every day, is this like a family thing? Where did that come from?
That was my treat growing up. Every night, I would just have ice cream at my house.
And just so the audience is watching, he's wearing a City of Trees marathon jacket.
That's right.
And he must run, and you can still love your ice cream.
That's right. It's fuel for me. So I like to run. I also like to eat ice cream.
That is cool.
Do you have a flavor that's your favorite?
You know, I like all sorts. I mean, depends on the day, depends on my mood. I really like our chocolate, but sometimes I feel like strawberry or vanilla or huckleberry or whatever. So
with the sprinkles that Cyndi provides.
I don't like sprinkles, but
just solid ice cream.
Yeah.
So Cyndi, what about you? Where do you have like a background in ice cream? It sounds like it's
I want to have a background in ice cream.
Basically, yes. So I grew up also eating ice cream. My dad would make homemade ice cream often, like multiple times a year. We'd get out the hand crank style machine and he would use the ice and the salt. And so I just thought it was like the most magical thing. And there's nothing like better than eating that ice cream that's like soft still, that hasn't like really set, straight from the homemade bucket. And so that's kind of how I fell in love with ice cream. The hot fudge recipe we use here is my dad's recipe. I grew up on that. And so it's just like, yes, my parents just fostered a love of ice cream in me as well. So
That's cute.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think we want to get into the flavors and the science behind how you make it. There's a guy that I've watched his YouTube videos, and he lets us use some of his footage of like this churning Belgian chocolate, and it looks delicious. And I'm a vanilla guy, but he makes all this different kind of ice cream, but there's a science behind oxygen in it and not getting it too icy. And so how did you, when you decide you wanted to make ice cream, what's the science behind, or what's the learning curve? Say, I want to make it at home on my churner as opposed to just making it here in the store.
Yeah.
this is all Blake.
So
Blake's creativity.
Blake's engineer brain.
Okay, let's hear it.
So-
the micron of ice cream.
that's right. So when we were kind of thinking about it, opening a business more and more, I just purchased one of those like a countertop ice cream maker off Amazon, and I just started experimenting. So I'd make ice cream 3 or 4 times a week at home, and I tried like chocolate. Took a long time to get right. I tried a lot of different things. I tried different cocoa powders till I found like my favorite combo. And yeah, you're right. So ice cream, in order for it to be eatable, it really needs to have air in it. And there's actually some like technical, I don't know, ice cream actually has a legal definition. So it can only be 50% air max. And then it has to be at least 10% butterfat, which is like the cream component.
Who came up with that?
I don't know, but
That's a real thing?
It's actually
For
a legal,
commercialized ice cream,
definition.
they have a legal
to call it ice
recipe.
cream. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Does it turn into gelato or something if it doesn't fit within those guidelines?
Yeah. So so a lot of gelato, technically like the gelato they make in Italy is typically like around 4% butterfat, although there's not a legal definition for gelato, so that can change. But that's usually a higher sugar content for that gelato to balance it out. But like in experimenting and stuff, we ended up going with like about an 18% butterfat, which is very high. Like a super premium ice cream is a 16%. So we're kind of a step above that.
That a way to go, guys.
And people like that. I mean, I like that. I like it extra creamy. If you go much higher than 18%, you start to feel like the film in your mouth. I don't know if you've ever had homemade ice cream where you like on the top, the roof of your mouth, you get like a filmy texture.
Yeah, even if it's not, we've been sampling ice cream for almost a year, and we've had several where it creates a nice film on the top of the roof of my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Thank you for explaining that.
Interesting.
Remember that Ahoy ice cream we started with?
Yeah.
That was very much a film.
We've done all kinds of crazy ones. I think our first one was the weirdest. It was black vanilla. They added charcoal to it.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and she's like, Kevin, your mouth is all black.
So then, of course, so is yours. Oh, yeah.
So it's literally you go buy some machines and then you're just putting your ingredients. You don't have a mix. You don't have something that you've bought from Costco or somewhere. You're literally making your own mixes.
So we contract, or we do have a supplier that makes a custom mix for us.
Gotcha.
Because they can make it mass scale and they can pasteurize it correctly.
Lots of laws.
And then
with
keep it the same flavor. So when I come back for, hey, I want this kind, it tastes the same.
Yeah, so we use kind of that same base
Got
mix, and then we're adding the flavor, and we churn it here. So we have like a commercial machine that can pump out 44 quarts of ice cream in about 9 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Like it freezes it that fast. And ice cream comes out soft, and then you have to put it in like a freezer that freezes it extra hard to kind of lock it in. And you want to freeze it fast and freeze it really cold initially so that you don't get ice crystals forming. So that's kind of where the science and
Yeah.
So who's in charge of that? Do you train your employees, or are you guys in charge of managing that part of the ice cream?
So initially when we opened, we had no idea what to expect.
Got it.
And I
Cindy's
was-
laughing. She's
I
smiling
was
big.
working at Micron, and then I was coming here like 3 or 4 nights a week after
Wow.
getting home. I'd get home
Right.
at 5 or 6 o'clock, and then I'd come and make ice cream for 3 or 4 hours.
Wow.
We were
And-
making ice cream at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like on a consistent basis that first year.
Like
It was
tomorrow,
wild.
tomorrow the doors open and we got to have this,
Yeah.
and this.
But now
and-
he's hired people and we've trained them, and we have some awesome ice cream
Right.
makers, and
Oh,
we don't
good.
ever want them to go away. They're perfect for
They
us.
are.
So.
We
I
have,
hope they listen.
we have a couple of great ladies that are doing it right now, and occasionally I'll still come in and make it,
Sure.
and that's a good reminder for me what it's like. And sometimes I want to experiment with the flavor. And honestly, now instead of experimenting at home, occasionally I'll experiment at home still, but sometimes I just go for it, and I kind of have a feel for how much to put in of different flavors and stuff.
So how many flavors do you currently have on your menu?
We got 25 here typically at Meridian, and then we have 28 at Bound Crossing, just because our freezers there are a bit bigger.
And we rotate our flavors, which some people love and some people hate. So we can't make everyone happy. Even ice cream doesn't make everyone happy.
That's true.
Surprise.
We've,
So surprising.
We've probably done 80 or 90
Yeah.
flavors total. And the most random flavor, someone will come in and say, when are you going to make, I don't know, grape nut again? Or
Black licorice all the time. Everyone wants
Really?
black licorice, and then we get it made, and then it just sits there, and we're like, where are all you black licorice people that wanted it?
I would not come in for that special flavor, but I heard it's an acquire, or you're either born with that flavor or you're not acquiring that flavor
Yeah.
or that taste.
That's a big flavor for Canadians.
Is
they,
it?
They love their black licorice.
Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Just FY. So you can have a Facebook post. Canadians, we have black licorice ice cream
Yes.
today.
Anyone visiting Boise, come to Black
That's
Licorice
right.
Day.
So do you serve soft serve, or is it all frozen that's harder that you scoop? And how often do you have to make the ice cream to keep up with the supply?
So we really wanted to be like a traditional hard scoop ice cream shop. We don't have a ton of toppings. All our ice cream is like mix-ins and like packed full of flavor. And so yes, we're very traditional hard scoop. We don't have any soft serve here. Occasionally we do sherbets in the summer, but that's about as far as we go. We make ice cream 5 days a week right now.
6.
6 days a week right now.
Wow.
So
And it's June, so is it up because of the summer months?
yeah, so in the winter we can get away with maybe 3 or 4 times a week, but in the
Yeah.
summer it's like full cylinder burning, whatever.
Yeah, and we're pretty maxed out. It's tough because you have to store it too, so that like the easiest way to do it is to make as much of one flavor as you can, but then you got to store all that till you get
Oh,
back to
right.
it 2 or 3 weeks later.
Right.
So we're kind of maxed out, which is why we're opening a third location, or part of the reason, so that we have more production capacity over there and more storage.
That's cool.
So in your bio, you were talking about buying a half gallon for $1
Oh,
in
yeah.
college. So I have that same kind of story. So what is yours? Where was that at, and what would you get?
So at Smith's in Provo, they would have 10 for 10s of their half gallons, and back then they were true half gallons. And so whenever we saw that sell, we would go in and buy 20. He'd go through one line and get 10, and I'd go through the other line and get 10.
I'm picturing your college apartment's refrigerator. We don't need a refrigerator. We just want a freezer.
Yes, and so all our friends and roommates knew we always had ice cream. We often did milkshake parties.
That's
We
so
had
cool.
a like old-fashioned style spindle milkshake maker, and we'd invite all our roommates and friends over, even after we were married, because I mean it's always been ice cream for us. So.
Wow. So my story, and I think I mentioned this on a previous show, but Albertsons on Park Center. It's the only place I found it. It was 99 cents for a half gallon. But what they would do is they would make ice cream, and then they would go to a new mix. But they didn't want to stop the machine, so they would just add. So you would get
Oh my
gosh, orange sherbet and
Mystery
Rocky
ice
Road
cream.
or whatever.
That's
And-
my worst nightmare.
That sounds like the worst nightmare,
And, you know,
but it's $1.
And you could get really good, like maybe it wasn't Rocky Road.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it was just one.
You
but
get a bite.
You could get a mix of the two.
Yeah.
But it was only 99 cents. And it was
Yeah.
kind of worth a gamble.
Think of that economy to now. That's crazy. We don't even get a full half gallon. What is
Nope.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Like a quart.
1.75.
Yeah, or
If that.
1.25
Yeah.
now, I
Yeah.
think, in some of them. But you're right. It's marveling.
There was a show I watched recently on the History Channel, and it's kind of the foods that make America or something. And they were talking about Ben and Jerry's, and some guy in Boston, but I don't remember his name. He kind of sold out early, but it was about they were the ones that started adding stuff to ice cream, and that's where it kind of exploded.
Yeah.
And they went to pint because it was smaller and they could, sell more or whatever.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's was all about really trying to get like a chunk of something in every
Yes.
bite, and that was kind of their calling card, and that's.
And
where
then they
became
opened
big.
Cold Stone after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was somebody I just saw, and it's funny now that we do this, I get all these video feeds on YouTube or whatever about ice cream. And there was somebody putting it in a bucket. I feel like my mic just went out for a second.
I think it did.
Anyway, they added Cadbury eggs.
Oh my gosh.
Like whole Cadbury eggs, and I don't know, I guess you would get a whole chunk of that, but yeah. So do you sell it to go, like in containers, or is it more serving, coming into the store and eating?
Yeah, we do lots of pints, and we also do cakes, which
cool.
people like a lot.
Birthday.
Yeah.
Who gets to bake those?
They're ice cream cakes, so not much baking, more freezing involved.
Just frozen.
So there's no
I ma-
cake involved. It's
Yeah,
just ice
it
cream.
has a brownie hot fudge layer and
Gotcha.
then 2 flavors of ice cream, and we decorate them up cute. I made a million cakes in my life, but now I have lots of employees that help us out on the cakes. They're super popular, so
I bet.
yeah. But like you were saying, we do have options to go, but like our favorite thing at Lovejoy's is like you're coming in for an ice cream experience. So my favorite way to eat ice cream is definitely to come into the shop, try as many flavors as you want, find the one that you love, and then get a scoop and sit down with your family or your friends or whoever.
Or your date.
Or your date.
Yeah.
And just enjoy the ice cream. Like that's what ice cream is to me, and that's why I love it. I love that it's like a food you have to be present for because it does melt. I cry when I see the pints just sitting on tables melting. I'm like, can I put that in the freezer for you? Because I really do baby all the ice cream
Aw.
in here. But yeah, like our favorite way is to just eat it together in the shops. So
And I do like that I'm looking at your print on the wall, and it actually has social, so it is a social event for
yeah,
you.
for sure.
And this venue is definitely adorable. If you haven't been here, how many? There's actual ice cream scoops that decorate your wall. Do you know how many you do have on the wall?
One of my kids counted once. We were up to 120. We might be above that now. Sometimes we're below it because people take them off the wall, but most of the time, I think they're
They're like,
around
don't touch that.
120.
That's antique.
Yes, so.
Do you have
It's really
Do you have
cute.
anything from like around the world, like maybe something unusual on the wall?
We have a lot of fun ones. Someone's 3D printed one for
Oh,
us.
yeah.
So that's been really fun. And then just, I think there's one that has like a little guy on it. Like we have all sorts.
Are
Everyone
people
should come in
donating
and see.
those?
Yeah. So
Oh.
we have a promotion where if you bring us ice cream scoop in that's unique, we will give you a free scoop of ice cream.
Oh, that is
And
cool.
so that was how
I was
we
gonna say
got
there-
our collection.
There might be a black licorice scoop only.
Yes.
Hanging on the wall. That's really cute, you guys. I like it.
So what's the weirdest or most odd flavor you've either made or has been requested of you?
Grape nut is
Like
odd.
cereal?
Yeah, but it's like a thing in I think in the Northeast.
On the Northeast. Yeah.
And I actually lived in Panama for 2 years, and they had grape nut ice cream there for.
So is
some
it
reason.
vanilla with all that cereal in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
It sounds to me like a yogurt, like if I have my yogurt with trail mix, but
Yeah.
only ice cream with like a trail mix.
Yeah, but Blake's made much weirder experimenting at home.
Oh.
We've had beet ice cream.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
had mint,
Oh,
mint from your garden, which just tastes like weeds.
Oh.
We call it weedy mint ice cream.
Beets, huh? Just trying to get rid of them or trying
I
to
was just
swallow them
trying-
to get rid of them?
We still may do beet ice cream here someday, I think.
You might
Um,
get some people.
And when we tried, I made this peep ice cream, and I wanted to color it yellow, so I used turmeric, just a tiny bit.
Trying to be like all natural.
Anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
But it became turmeric tea because it was very heavy on the turmeric.
Do you know what? I have my best friend that lives in Texas, we always joke about turmeric. You can't ever disguise that flavor. It is potent. So I still have a tub when I was running, and they're like, just try like a scoop of turmeric in your smoothie.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, I would rather die.
Well, I read about it.
I'd rather have this sciatic pain than to drink my smoothie with turmeric.
Yeah, I read about it in like an ice cream like cookbook. I have like several of those, and they're like, oh yeah, you just color it for yellow, use a little turmeric. But
Sure.
It comes through, that's for
You
sure.
can
So
taste
it was yellow and flavorful.
Yeah.
Is it like, have you ever cooked with oyster sauce?
No.
It's just
You
very
can't get rid of it.
powerful. It's just you use a little bit and it's in the house
It's
for
a lot.
while. Yeah.
Got it. Well, gosh, you guys, that was such a joy. Really, Lovejoy. And coming out to interview you. Kevin, do you have any other questions?
What's the most commonly asked for flavor?
Oh, yeah. What's your top? Or at least this week.
Top 5.
Okay, so we have some like unique flavors to us. Our dark matter, which is a dark chocolate base with brownies and Oreos, is probably our
Yum.
#1 bestseller. Our huckleberry cheesecake, because we're in Idaho, people love their
Love
huckleberries.
huckleberries, yeah.
And it has a really rich cheesecake
Ooh.
base, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Our banana cream pie is a flavor we thought we'd only make like once or twice, and first week we made it, and it was just requested over and over and over. So we
Yes.
always try and have banana cream pie.
And where do you get that from?
So we take a whole ton of bananas and shove them into the machine, and then add cream cheese and vanilla wafers, actually.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And it's amazing, and people love it. So
Wow. So those would be your top 3.
those, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, but people come in and they ask like, "Oh, what do you recommend?" And everyone's different. Like Cindy, when we first opened, she only wanted like 10 flavors.
All
and
chocolate.
All chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we
Let's get all the chocolate mixes.
because
I'm with you, Cindy.
Yeah, I like everything pretty much. I like chocolate, but I also like other stuff. So, so sometimes I'll recommend a great flavor to someone, and they make like a sour face, and like, why would you even think that's
Like the
good?
beets. It's like, hey,
No,
try the
not
beets.
no, not beets. I mean actual good flavors.
Yes.
So.
But you'd be actually shocked how much just the classics sell. We sell so much cookies and cream,
Yeah.
mint chipper, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Those are just like huge heavy hitters. We had no idea when we opened. We thought people would often gravitate to like, oh, the more unique flavors, but those classic flavors are classic for a reason. So.
So if you decided to go like watermelon, I mean, do you literally go to like get some watermelon and add to it, or is there something else you do to kind of find that flavor?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, we try to use real fruits and stuff where possible, but like with watermelons, the reality of actually trying to cut up watermelons at the volume we do, I haven't done a watermelon. I've thought about it, but probably what I would do is buy like a puree from a supplier and use something like that. But like with strawberry, we're using real strawberries. We kind of bake them a certain way. So we go through a ton of strawberries. And with banana, like she mentioned, we're using fresh bananas. So we buy them by the case.
So you guys could be more of the natural. You're using the whole fruit.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
for a lot.
It's part of the real. Like
Yeah.
we do try and use like real ingredients.
And
Yes,
yeah.
granted, Oreos are not like real, but we put them in ice cream, so we're not like zealots about it. But yes, we try and keep things as real as possible, and especially those fruit flavors, we always use real, natural.
Yeah.
And if we do any extracts, they're all natural. So.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
We our very first guest ever. It was kind of at the end of the show, and we were just talking, and she's like, "Have you ever had a hillbilly milkshake?" And we were like, "No, what?" And she's like, "They would take a 5-gallon bucket and just put all kinds of ice cream or whatever in it. They take a drill with a paddle and they just put it in there and just mix it up, and that's how they would have their things." That was our very first show, so we did not
That's
know
right.
that ice cream was on the horizon for us.
That's right. That's right. And that was out in Middleton.
Middleton.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, you guys need to try our ice cream. So what
I know.
flavors do you guys want?
We need to try it.
I'm vanilla.
Vanilla?
You're not going to try something different? Surprise me.
Because it's here. It's different
Just surprise
because
me.
it's
I could
here.
do classic. Just don't give me a black licorice and I'll be good.
We don't have it right now. Luckily
Okay,
for you, so-
luckily for me.
Yeah.
Can I take these off and get some?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
So if someone,
Thank you, Cindy.
tell us about your, like, if somebody wants to come here, when you open, what social media can they follow? Because I notice on Facebook you guys do a lot of promotions and things like that.
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page. I think you would just search that. And then on Instagram, I think it's Lovejoy Ice Cream. And we don't push that a ton. We'll do like maybe one post a week. Just usually when we have a new flavor or occasionally when we do some kind of promotion. Every year we do an anniversary thing where we'll do a buy one get one free essentially, or buy one get one.
Do you guys do it on your anniversary? Because that'd be cool. The store's anniversary and Blake and Cindy's.
We do it on the stores, but we
Okay.
could do it on the.
Add a second one. That's awesome.
Yeah. Or are they getting them for? Okay.
You guys are so sweet.
But yeah, that's kind of the main way to follow us, I think, and yeah.
So I have a friend named Sonia Lovejoy, and when I was researching you, I was like, maybe her family has this ice cream
It's her
shop.
family's
I
last
thought it was
name.
it's her last name, and I thought that maybe she had got into the business.
How
So-
did you pick love first, then joy instead of
So
joy love?
Lovejoy is actually my middle name.
It is?
It's not my maiden name. It is my middle name. The best was the first year we were open, a big family comes walking in and they go, "We're the Lovejoys!" And they were having a family reunion in Idaho and they had just found us. And so they came in. So a goal of mine is to someday have a Lovejoy day where if your name is Lovejoy
Yeah.
or Lovejoy, you come in and
Come
get a free
in.
scoop just because I've always loved my middle name. And so
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to her. Maybe she was part of that little clan.
So it's not your maiden name, it's your middle
It's
name.
my middle name.
And what was your maiden name?
Anderson.
Anderson. So
Yeah.
they named two middle names. Lovejoy.
Yeah, so it's my middle name is one word, and so
Yeah.
that's how we've
How you
done it
did
on the
it.
shop is Lovejoy. Is just
Thanks for that background.
Yep.
That's awesome. I like that the family came too.
And I've had the name since I wrote that paper in my senior English class. Like,
That would be the name of the ice cream
we
shop.
always knew that would be the name, so there was no question what was going up.
There
on the
needs to
sign.
be like a alma mater type of alumni group that comes up from whatever class that was that you guys had to write that paper.
Yeah, we need the teacher was really eccentric and
Okay.
yeah, we need to.
So, Mr. Beeson, if you're listening,
Yeah.
I
we've
hope
tried
you
to
really
find him
read
on-
that paper.
We've tried to find him
Oh,
on
thank
LinkedIn
you,
and all
guys.
sorts of things, but we can't find him.
I'm guessing that's a vanilla. Those are the. Oh wait, I was gonna ask one more thing. Do you guys ever? Oh my goodness, we're getting
you.
like an entire taste test. Do you guys? You don't do cones?
We do. We have
Oh, you do? Okay.
waffle, cake, sugar cones.
Okay, so they could come in a cup or a cone.
Yep.
Okay, good
And
to know.
we make the waffle cones here.
Okay. Yeah, I can
course you
kind of
do.
smell. I can kind of
Yeah, of
smell.
Of course you do.
And they're real cones,
Yes.
right?
So that's
Okay.
the huckleberry, that's dark matter. You can pick whichever one you
Or
want.
you can have both if you want.
No, I think I'm gonna do the chocolate because I'm a chocolate girl.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
best, so.
Okay, and what is it called that I'm gonna taste here?
That's our dark matter. So it's a dark chocolate with brownies and Oreos.
Okay, I'm gonna have Kevin move that camera over so that they can see it. And your cute little
Oh.
cups.
Yeah, here's the huckleberry.
So we're trying this one. There's huckleberry. What's yours, Cindy?
Mine's just regular chocolate.
Regular chocolate. And Kevin has vanilla. It looks like a French vanilla.
No, it just has the vanilla bean specks in it.
Okay, I think I saw that. Okay.
It's very creamy. It's delicious.
It looks so creamy. What is it? It's 18% of the cream or the
Yeah,
milk fat?
18% butterfat is.
Okay.
That's the technical term, I think. And for the vanilla, we make it's
Mm.
Tahitian vanilla that we make in house.
That's
So.
so good.
Yes.
Oh my word, this is really good.
This is better than that stuff we buy at the grocery store every week.
I think so too.
I hope so.
Yes, 100%.
Do they have you guys entered contests for like the most creamy or the best or anything like that?
No, there's one. So every year there's a cone con, a convention for
It is
ice
called
cream.
Cone Con.
It's called Cone Con.
Where is that at?
It changes every
Okay.
year. We went about 2 years ago, and they have a big contest. I want to go back. It just hasn't worked out yet. We have 7 kids at home still.
Wow.
So it's just busy, and it's just where should we spend our time? And And should we go to ConeCon for a vacation, or should we go do something fun?
The kids are like, Cone Con, Mom and Dad.
It actually is pretty fun.
Is really
fun.
for ice cream nerds.
Yeah, if you're into ice cream, but
You guys, I want to be an ice cream nerd. That's the coolest label.
So here's one of the problems with our show. Every episode, I think Tara decides she wants to go do. So last week we interviewed a girl that does the unsolved cold cases, and I think she was ready to join the police force right after that was over.
Everybody's occupation sounds awesome. I love mine too. But yes, I do. I'm fascinated with everyone's life and lifestyle, and you guys are doing a great job. And I can tell your engineering mind, just the way you describe ice cream and the production and how that all works. It's very calculated.
And if we go backwards a little bit, so this guy that I've watched him make stuff, you should watch, it's kind of interesting, but he's talking about stabilizers. I mean, he's buying all this something root or some kind of gum from somewhere, and he's British, but then he moved to Canada, but he helps people start little shops.
yeah, I didn't quite finish that when we were talking about making the ice cream. When you make ice cream at home and then there's leftover and you put it in the freezer, it always turns out icy. And that's because you do need some stabilizer in there. So you can use xanthan gum or locust bean gum, and there's a few other different ones.
Some people use eggs. That makes it more of a custard base, but eggs is definitely a stabilizer.
Yeah, but
Emulsifier.
it just takes a tiny bit. So we use locust bean gum in ours as a stabilizer, but Salt and Straw, they're a popular chain out of Portland. They use xanthan gum, or at least that's what's in their cookbook. So what that does is those stabilizers kind of attach to a water molecule and maybe a fat molecule, and then they just hold them there so that the ice crystals can't form.
Interesting.
And the other thing I was going to mention, I mentioned that ice cream can be 50% air, but most places like ours, it's probably, the way you say it is how much overrun it has. So 50% air is 100% overrun, and ours is more probably around 40 or 50%. So it's just more dense.
Yeah.
What you buy at the store, they're almost always going to have it right at 100% or 100
50.
overrun.
Okay.
So that they
can meet the legal recipe.
Right, and
the least
maximize
amount of
the air.
ingredient
Right.
Can make
for
you
your
buy
most
air.
money. Yeah,
That's why
right.
a dryers or Breyers almost taste kind of dry.
Yep.
And almost icy, and they're also going to push the lower limit of the fat content they have in it.
Oh, now we know why it's Dryers.
Right.
And then Breyers just has to rhyme.
And maybe
That's impressive.
We don't want to talk about your competition, but there was a time I bought some, I think it was at Fred Meyer. It was just a half gallon of vanilla. And I took it home and I was like, this tastes just like Dairy Queen. But it didn't say ice cream, it said dairy dessert.
Yeah.
Right.
And that made me very disappointed that Dairy Queen probably wasn't real ice cream.
Well, it was probably dairy dessert because it didn't meet the legal limit for ice cream. So
Right. But it wasn't as good.
But yeah,
They didn't want to get turned in, and nobody wants to go to court over ice cream.
most soft serve is going to be under 10%. A lot of times it's around 6 to 8. Some of them are 10%, but soft serve is generally a lower fat content. So, yeah.
Do you find yourself being the kind of ice cream snobs now? If you go out of town, you're on vacation, and you have some ice cream somewhere, and you're like, this is not any good at all.
We're the worst people to eat ice cream with now. We're talking this is a 16%. We can tell you everything about it.
So cool.
Caramel, I love caramel. Our caramel is made in-house. Our caramel cannot be beat. The only people who beat our caramel is Salt and Straw because they use the same recipe. But
So the hot sauce or the chocolate is your dad.
Yes.
And then the caramel's made in-house with your own recipe.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's incredible. And so I'll go to, any ice cream shop out of state because we love ice cream. If we go on vacation, we always say we're ice cream touring. So we go to all the shops. And I always get caramel, and then Blake's like, why are you getting caramel? Every time I'm disappointed. It's always artificial. It's never a true caramel, and ours will always.
You just want to pat yourself on the back.
Yes.
That's what I would do too. I'm like, I just want to make sure that I'm still the best.
Yeah, I forgot to mention salty caramel. That's another huge
Salty
hit.
caramel.
Yeah, it is.
Huge hit.
Like
But-
as a sauce or a
No,
flavor?
it's our flavor,
Okay.
and it's amazing. Like I said, in my opinion, it can't be beat.
But we always run out because it's hard to keep up on the caramel production.
Or like if you put them two together, like I could see the chocolate with the caramel.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yes.
split it in half.
Great.
And we
So-
always split scoops around here
Okay.
because we like that combo. So
Get a little bit of both.
Is Huckleberry more seasonal, or do you guys have a way to keep it year round?
No, we get it year round. We have a local person that we get most of our huckleberry from.
Dorothy.
And
Keep it on the down
yeah,
low.
it's Dorothy's.
which people love. We
Yeah.
sell her jam on our counters.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And so she basically buys a ton of it in, August, September, and all of hers comes from North Idaho, I think.
I was gonna say up in Coeur d'Alene or
yeah.
Canada. hmm
And so I think she just freezes a ton of it, and then we're able to get it through her.
That's awesome.
And she's been great to work with.
That's
well,
awesome.
her company.
That's cool.
So I think one last question for you. So you wrote this paper. I think my mic just keeps cutting out.
Or you're holding it. Maybe that's
it's
just
I'm
the
holding
thing.
it.
You're doing great.
So you wrote this paper. Looking at what you have now compared to what you wrote about, is it what you were thought?
I mean, it's so much more work than I ever thought it would be, but it's also like so much more fun. When I wrote it, like it was all just ice cream focused, and with it, I didn't think about all the people that would come through our door. And we've just met like the most awesome ice cream fans in the world who come through our door. And like my favorite thing still is to just be behind the counter scooping ice cream and talking with people. People care a lot about ice cream, and those are my kind of people. So it's just super fun, the people that come through. And I didn't realize that aspect of it at all when I was writing that paper. So
I love you. So heartfelt. And I'm like, okay, sign me up for being a fan.
She's gonna apply for a job before she.
I might. I did work. I've worked in ice cream all of my like high school and college. So
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I used to scoop TCBY. Then I worked at Charlie's
It's
Ice
yogurt.
Cream.
It's
Yeah,
yogurt.
the country's best yogurt.
Yogurt's not nice.
We
I
won't
know, I know.
judge.
I'm just giving you some ideas of my skills in case I come in with a resume or an application. So I've been around frozen, dairy, dessert, and ice cream. Not Frosties, but yeah. So very cool.
Just two quick things for me,
Okay.
and we'll let you guys get back to your life. But I was in St. Louis, and there's custard is a big deal there. And my friend, she's like, "Oh, we got to go get the custard after the Cardinal game." And we went there. There was like 50 people lined up, and I remember eating it, and just wasn't a big deal to me. But anyway,
Yeah, it just depends.
Just all
I mean,
taste.
custard means they've added eggs.
Right.
So it just depends on exactly how they make it. And some are going to be great, and some are not so great, just like ice cream.
Yeah, and what your flavor of the day? Some people like flan. Some people hate it. Eggs.
And as we end, I'll just tell you this funny story. My dad would buy ice milk, which I was telling you earlier, which is just nasty. And it is very icy, but he would get Neapolitan sometimes, and I would just go right down the middle with the vanilla and just scoop it all out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
leave the
Have
chocolate and
two-
strawberry.
Yeah.
and I would just take the chocolate. So
Yeah, I'd be like, can I get the chocolate side? Obviously.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much.
We appreciate your time.
Everybody listening, come on down to Lovejoy's on Overland and Meridian, or Bowen Crossing.
Bound Crossing in Boise.
And soon to be
5 Mile and
5 Mile
Ustick?
Ustick.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
When does that opening?
We
might need to be there.
At least in September.
Somewhere in
wow.
September.
You never know,
Okay.
but it could be August, but I think September is pretty safe.
Okay. Very
Awesome.
good.
Yeah, we're
we
working
appreciate
on it.
you.
Hey, and
coming on.
congratulations. You guys are doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
thanks
Souls
for
fans.
having us.
All right. Take care. Signing out.